Have you ever found yourself mesmerized by a pattern, the intricate design of a snowflake, the spiraling shell of a snail, the unfurling petals of a rose, or the vast, swirling arms of a galaxy? Throughout history and across all cultures, humanity has been captivated by one symbol more than any other: the circle. And in its most sacred and complex form, we call it the mandala. From the sand paintings of Tibetan monks and the rose windows of Gothic cathedrals to the sunstones of the Aztecs, this symbol of a circle with a center appears as a universal expression of our psyche. We see it as a symbol of the cosmos, of eternity, of divinity. But why? What is it about this sacred circle that holds such a profound power over our minds? The great Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung believed he had found the answer. He saw the mandala not just as a cultural artifact or a religious symbol, but as something far more personal and profound. He saw it as a spontaneous, instinctual map of the human soul, a living blueprint of our deepest nature, emerging from the unconscious to guide us, to heal us, and to lead us back to our own center. Today, we will journey into the heart of this mystery. We will explore why Jung believed these sacred circles are one of the most important symbols in the journey of self-discovery, and how you can use their power to find order in your own inner chaos. The story of Jung's connection to the mandala is not one of academic research, but of profound personal experience. It began around 1916 during a period of intense personal crisis. After his break with Sigmund Freud, Jung felt disoriented, lost in a dark wood. He described this time as a confrontation with the unconscious, a frightening descent into the unknown depths of his own psyche. It was in this state of turmoil that something remarkable began to happen. Every morning he would sketch a small circular drawing in his notebook. He didn't know why he was doing it or what it meant. He simply felt an inner compulsion to create these circular images. He called them his mandalas, borrowing the Sanskrit term, but at the time, he had no deep knowledge of their Eastern meaning. He was simply following an instinct. As he continued this practice, he noticed a profound change within himself. He observed that each drawing seemed to reflect his inner situation at that moment. On days when he felt calm and centered, the mandala was balanced and harmonious. On days when he was in conflict, the mandala was asymmetrical or chaotic. He wrote, "I had to abandon the idea of the superordinate position of the ego. I had to let myself be carried along by the current without a notion of where it would lead me." That current led him to the mandala. It became his anchor in the storm, a tool to create a single protected point of focus amidst the chaos. He realized that his psyche, completely on its own, was producing symbols of order and wholeness in an attempt to heal itself. This was the key that unlocked everything. The mandala was not just a pretty picture, it was the soul's natural, self-healing response to fragmentation. From his personal discovery, Jung developed a profound psychological theory. He came to see the mandala as the ultimate symbol of the self. As we've explored, the self is the archetype of wholeness, the organizing intelligence of our entire psyche, both conscious and unconscious. It is the complete iceberg, the entire mountain, the totality of who we are. The mandala, Jung realized, is a visual representation of this wholeness. It is a snapshot of the self. Let's break down its core symbolism. The circumference, the outer circle, represents the totality of the psyche, the boundary between the self and the outer world. It is the container for all the disparate parts of our personality. It represents unity, eternity, and the cyclical nature of life. The center of the mandala is the most crucial point. It represents the origin, the destination, the core of our being. It is the point of stillness around which all the chaos of life revolves. Jung saw it as a symbol for the divine potential that lies at the heart of every individual. The journey to the center of the mandala is a symbolic journey to the center of your own soul. Everything within the circle, all the colors, shapes, and patterns, represents the different, often conflicting parts of your own personality. Your conscious ego, your hidden shadow, your inner masculine and feminine, your thoughts and your feelings. The mandala brings all of these warring elements together into a single, unified, and harmonious whole, all held within the protective space of the circle, all organized around a single, powerful center. It is a blueprint of a healed and integrated soul. Why does the psyche spontaneously produce these images, especially during times of crisis? Jung believed the mandala is a natural healing mechanism. It is the soul's instinctual attempt to create order out of chaos. Imagine your life is in turmoil. You've lost your job, a relationship has ended, or you feel a deep sense of inner conflict and disorientation. Your conscious ego feels fragmented, overwhelmed, and lost. In these moments, the organizing center of the psyche, the self, activates its own emergency protocol. It sends up a symbol from the depths, a symbol that represents the very thing you have lost: order, balance, and a connection to a center. The act of creating a mandala, whether through drawing, painting, or even just visualizing one, is a powerful meditative practice. It forces your consciousness to focus on a single point, the center. As you draw the intricate patterns outward from this center, you are symbolically gathering the scattered, warring parts of yourself and organizing them around a unifying principle. It is an act of psychic reintegration. You are creating a sacred space, a protected circle, where the chaos of your life can be contained and understood. Jung wrote that the mandala has a conservative purpose, which is to restore a previously existing order. But it also has a creative purpose, to give expression and form to something that does not yet exist. It is both a reminder of the wholeness that you have lost and a map towards the greater wholeness you can become. It is your soul's way of whispering to your frightened ego, "Do not despair. Even in this chaos, there is a center, there is a pattern, there is a path back to yourself." While mandalas share a common structure, a circle and a center, Jung emphasized that every mandala created by an individual is uniquely personal. It is a living snapshot of their psyche in that specific moment in time. The colors, the numbers, the shapes, the symbols that emerge spontaneously are not random. They are a symbolic language that reveals the person's inner state. For example, the colors used can be highly significant. Red might symbolize passion, anger, or life force. Blue could represent intellect, spirituality, or sadness. Green might point to growth, nature, and healing, while yellow could represent consciousness and intuition. The choice of colors is often an unconscious one, a direct expression of the energies that are most active within the person at that time. The numbers that appear in the mandala, the number of points on a star, the number of petals on a flower, the number of divisions in the circle, are also important. For Jung, the number 4 was particularly significant, representing wholeness and earthly reality. But other numbers could have personal or archetypal meanings as well. The shapes and symbols that emerge are perhaps the most revealing. A person might draw a star, a flower, a snake, a cross, or a spiral. Each of these symbols carries a rich layer of both collective, archetypal meaning and a specific personal meaning for the individual. A snake could represent healing and transformation, but for someone with a snake phobia, it could represent a deep-seated fear. Therefore, a personal mandala is not meant to be interpreted by a rigid dictionary of symbols. It is an invitation for self-reflection. The creator must ask themselves, what does this color mean to me? What does this shape make me feel? What is my psyche trying to show me with this image? It is a direct, intimate conversation with your own soul, written in a language that only you can truly decipher. While every mandala is personal, most share a fundamental geometric language. By understanding the core symbolic meaning of these shapes, we can begin to read the universal map of the psyche. The first and most important element is the circle. As we've discussed, the circle is a universal symbol of totality, eternity, and wholeness. It is the self. It represents the entirety of the psyche, both conscious and unconscious. The circle acts as a sacred, protective container. Everything inside it belongs to the individual's world. Everything outside is the collective or the external reality. Its seamless, unending line represents the cyclical nature of life and the inherent unity of all things. The second common element, often found inside the circle, is the square. If the circle represents the divine, spiritual, and infinite nature of the psyche, the square represents the opposite, earthly, material reality. It is a symbol of order, structure, and stability. Its 4 equal sides represent groundedness in the 4 cardinal directions. Jung often associated the square with consciousness. the ordered, rational part of our mind that tries to structure and make sense of the world. The tension between the circle and the square within a mandala often represents the fundamental human conflict between our spiritual, infinite nature and our grounded, finite existence. The ultimate goal, symbolized by the squared circle in alchemy, is to integrate these two, to ground our spiritual life in earthly reality. Finally, we have the center. The center, or the bindu in Sanskrit, is the point of origin and return. It is the still point in the turning world. It is the symbol of the ultimate, unknowable mystery, the divine spark, a core of the self. Every other part of the mandala is organized around this center. The entire purpose of creating or meditating on a mandala is to find our way back to this inner point of stillness, this sacred center of our own being, where we can find peace even amidst the chaos of life. As we look deeper into the structure of mandalas, both ancient and modern, a specific number appears with remarkable frequency, the number 4. This pattern of quaternity was, for Jung, profoundly significant. He saw it as a natural symbol of wholeness and completion. He observed this pattern everywhere. In the physical world, we have the 4 seasons, the 4 elements of ancient philosophy: earth, air, fire, water, and the 4 cardinal directions. In our religious and mythological symbolism, we see it in the 4 evangelists of Christianity, the 4 arms of the Hindu god Vishnu, the 4 sacred directions of the Native American medicine wheel, and the 4 noble truths of Buddhism. He believed this was no coincidence. He proposed that the number 4 represents the fundamental structure of the human psyche. Most importantly, he connected it directly to his theory of the 4 psychological functions: thinking and feeling, the rational deciding functions, and sensation and intuition, the irrational perceiving functions. A mandala that is divided into 4 distinct quadrants often symbolizes the individual's struggle or attempt to balance these 4 functions. For example, a person who relies heavily on thinking and sensation might spontaneously draw a mandala with rich detail in 2 quadrants, while the other 2, representing feeling and intuition, are empty or chaotic. This reveals the psyche's unconscious desire to integrate its neglected parts. For Jung, a balanced quaternity was the very symbol of psychological health. It represented the ideal state where a person could access all 4 of their inner capacities, able to navigate the world with logic, feel with compassion, perceive reality with clarity, and see with vision. The recurring appearance of the number 4 in mandalas is a message from the self, reminding us of the blueprint for our own completion. The mandala does not only appear in conscious drawing or in ancient art. It is also one of the most powerful and significant symbols to emerge in our dreams. When a mandala appears in a dream, Jung believed it was a particularly important message from the self. It often occurs during major life transitions, periods of intense stress, or when a person is undergoing a significant psychological transformation. The appearance of a mandala in a dream is almost always a positive, healing sign. It signals that even if the dreamer's conscious life is in a state of chaos and confusion, their unconscious psyche is actively working towards order, balance, and wholeness. The dream mandala acts as a compensating force. For example, a person feeling fragmented and pulled in many directions might dream of a single, stable, circular temple. This dream is the psyche's attempt to offer a symbol of the very stability and centeredness the person is lacking in their waking life. A person struggling with a moral conflict might dream of a mandala that successfully unites 2 opposing colors or symbols, showing them a potential path towards reconciliation. The specific form of the dream mandala is, of course, highly important. It might be a flower, a wheel, a city, a clock, or an abstract geometric pattern. The dreamer is encouraged to engage with this image, to draw it, to meditate on it, and to ask what it might represent in their current life situation. It can act as a guide, a source of comfort, or a profound confirmation that they are on the right path. For Jung, the spontaneous emergence of these unifying symbols from the dream world was powerful evidence of the psyche's innate drive towards wholeness. A drive that is always at work, even when we are asleep, patiently guiding us back to our own sacred center. Given the profound healing power of the mandala, it is not surprising that Jung and later Jungian therapists incorporated the creation of mandalas into their work. This is something that you too can do as a powerful practice for self-discovery and meditation. The beautiful thing is, you do not need to be an artist. The goal is not to create a perfect, symmetrical masterpiece. The goal is to create an authentic expression of your inner state. Here is a simple way to begin. Find a quiet space where you will not be disturbed. Take a piece of paper and some colored pencils, crayons, or pastels. You can start by drawing a circle on the page, using a compass, or simply tracing a plate. This creates the sacred protective container. Then close your eyes for a moment. Take a few deep breaths. Quiet your mind. Without planning or thinking too much, simply begin. Let your hand choose the colors that feel right. Let it create the shapes and patterns that want to emerge. Don't judge what you are creating. Don't worry if it's good or bad. The key is spontaneity. Allow your unconscious to speak through your hands. Just let it flow. The process should feel less like drawing and more like discovering. You are simply witnessing what wants to be born onto the page. When you feel the mandala is complete, take some time to look at it. Don't analyze it right away. Just be with it. How does it make you feel? What colors or shapes stand out to you? What title might you give it? You can write down your reflections in a journal. This practice, especially if done regularly, can become a profound dialogue with your unconscious. It is a way of taking a regular temperature check of your soul, creating order from your inner chaos, and connecting with the deep centering wisdom of the self. In the end, the mandala teaches us a simple but profound truth. No matter how chaotic our lives become, no matter how fragmented or lost we may feel, there exists within each of us a point of stillness, an organizing principle, a sacred center. This is the self. The mandala is the map that reminds us that this center is always there, waiting for us to return. It is a symbol of hope. It tells us that the natural tendency of the psyche is not towards disintegration, but towards wholeness. It is a tool for healing. The simple meditative act of creating a circle can calm an anxious mind and organize a chaotic inner world. And it is a path of discovery. Each mandala we create is a new message from our soul, a new insight into our own unique journey, a new step towards integrating the many conflicting parts of ourselves into a harmonious whole. The ultimate goal is not to create a perfect mandala on a piece of paper, but to become a living mandala, to live a life that is organized around your own true center, to hold the opposites within you, your joy and your sorrow, your strength and your weakness, within the sacred, compassionate circle of your own awareness. To know that even when the storms of life are raging, you have an unshakable point of peace within. The mandala is a timeless symbol, a gift from the collective unconscious, reminding us of the blueprint for our own wholeness. It is an invitation to come home to yourself,